Welcome to Taranaki Foodies with Area 41, the tastiest food show on the Most FM. We love to talk about food, garden, hospitality, our beautiful Taranaki, and all the people that are involved in all this above. And of course, music. We are recording our show live on a Facebook group page. Look for Taranaki Foodies with Area 41. Join in if you like to peek behind the scenes. We are Olina Williams and Warwick Foy, local foodies and the Most FM broadcasters. Our videographers today are Oli Foy and Nathan Griffith. Our guest today is surprisingly not from Taranaki, but he lives here at the moment. His name is Jacob Schrader, student from New Plymouth Boys High School, sportsman, foodie, and the graduate of the Speechcraft course. How about we listen to some music first? Wind of Change by Scorpions. Do you know the song, by the way?
Yeah.
Wow, I mean, it's classic, isn't it? Do you like Scorpions?
Yeah, this is the second most famous German song in the West.
Yeah.
Do you know? I mean, not the West, in the English-speaking world.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What I think is the most famous?
From the Scorpions.
From any band?
From any band. Maybe like 99 Look for
Yes,
Bonus,
that's
Look
the
for
one.
Bonus.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
going to say.
Different cultures will all agree.
So
And it's so lyrical, but at the same, it's a rock beat and it's complex. I don't like simple music, which is actually modern talking is a very simple music, repetitive and things like that. But Wind of Change is beautifully complex.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, and I also quite like from them Rock You Like a Hurricane. That's always good when you want to turn up.
I danced so much listening to this when I was young. It was amazing.
it's one of the best-selling singles of all time.
Yeah. Also, I like the message in the words as well. I mean, it's very rare that music and the words and kind of complexity goes together. For example, I love the complexity of the classical music, but very often I miss something from it. And also, it has a storytelling in it. You know how it starts very slowly and then it develops. There is a development in it and culmination and then the end. So it's almost like in speechcraft, you know. Do you know Scorpions, Nathan?
I was not familiar with these songs that you're talking about.
Yeah.
I was only, when you spoke to me just now, I was just thinking about my favorite songs that don't have any words. But they're not anything like classical music. They're just like tropical
Like reggae.
music. Yeah. But this one I like, it's got this, it's like complete, like it's got like slow bits and then really quick bits. And then right at the end, it does like this grand, like,
Yeah.
actually everything slows down. It goes like, as if like the music is stopping.
Wow.
And it makes me happy. Like the vocals, there is vocals. It's not any words, but it's just perhaps a girl, sort of just making like noises and things. So it's very satisfying.
Yeah. Well, music taste is something peculiar.
Yeah.
We don't know until we listen to something that we absolutely love.
Yeah,
and
sure.
when we do, we kind of trying to put it. But now, a lot of music exists on the crossroads of many styles. Like this is very lyrical and song, but it's basically a rock song. It's a rock band.
Yeah. But it's a power ballad. It's got the classic
Yeah.
bridge, which is just there. Every power ballad has.
There is
Yeah,
another band which is not as popular as some other German bands. It's called Die Ärzte.
Oh, the Amster, yeah. Oh, I really enjoy listening to that
Do you?
one.
Oh, I know two songs really well, and one of these clips is just so crazy. So the story of this clip is that the girl who is like a Snow White eats a poisonous apple, falls down, and very strange-looking gnomes pick her up, who look like a very small religious monks or something like that, took her to the church, and the spider makes a spider web around it, and then the knight comes to free her, and he cuts all the spider web, and he's very clumsy. He's not very nice. He just walks and he just looks very clumsy, and then She wakes up after he kisses her and just started to rip off all his armory.
Okay.
And at the end, she lifts him to put him on the horse. And I mean, it was in 80s. It was not when this gender roles were kind of questioned. Really, really crazy. And the latest, the answer one, which means that if um, I'm on the beach.
Ich bin am Strand.
Yeah, ich bin am Strand. This is really good.
Oh, the one I was describing is called Way by the Sea.
Right. Yeah, there's something soothing about water. I can listen to Scorpions every day. It's something that
Surely the most popular song with whistling ever.
Yes, the best band ever. I always try to hide my own personal music choices because some of them are really odd, but with Scorpions I don't have to compromise because there is a lot of people who love it. Jacob, do you know Scorpions? It's an old band.
Yes, I also know the Scorpions. Listen to them quite a bit, especially Wind of Change and Rock You Like a Hurricane. Definitely two of my favorites.
That brings us to quiz time.
Awesome.
So what year did the Scorpions form?
Oh, wow.
I was surprised when I got the answer.
Okay, tell us.
1965. So
Wow.
they have been around for a long time and they're still performing.
And they're still very current because you listen to them today and there is nothing that annoys you. Like sometimes I listen to the 80s music and I'm annoyed at the repetition and things like that. But this is like, wow. Yeah.
The other thing I learned about it is, and this is quiz question number 2, which historical event is associated with the song?
All right, I know. Because
Yeah.
I'm from Soviet Union. I was born there.
Yeah, I think I know it as well. I'm from Germany, so pretty sure that's the Berlin Wall.
Actually, no.
No, it's
That's not
not.
the answer. That's what I always thought as well.
Oh.
And it is very closely linked to that event, which is why everyone thinks that's the answer. But the answer is actually perestroika, which was the reforming of the Soviet Union in the late 80s under
Oh.
Gorbachev.
Yeah.
But of course, the Berlin Wall collapse came out of that.
Yeah.
If we both will be much older and came from different generations, we will be on different sides. We'll be enemies, which is really, really wrong. I'm glad that we live in a modern world and we can actually embrace each other culture and we can treat everyone with honor and respect.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
what else do young people
Oh,
in
we haven't
Germany?
done question 3 yet.
Oh my gosh! Sorry.
Question 3 is Winds of Change is one of the highest selling singles of all time. And the question is, on the list, where does it fall? In other words, is it first, second, third, or more?
I just must admit that it's so easy for Warwick because he looks online at Wikipedia.
Oh, I'd have to say it's pretty high up there.
I'll tell you, I'll give you a clue. It's not in the top 10, but
Oh.
it is in the top 20.
Top 20. Oh, I'd have to take a guess on that.
Yeah.
I'd say top 14.
Close, 13.
Oh wow, so
So
close.
the 13th biggest selling single of all time, selling
Wow.
15 million units. And above that, we have Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta with You're the One That I Want. At the top of the list is White Christmas by Bing Crosby and Candle in the Wind, 97, when Princess Diana died, by Elton John, with 33 million units sold.
Wow, that's pretty
according to
impressive.
Wikipedia.
Yeah, it shows how many people love music, isn't it? And bands like Scorpions appeal to so many people in different culture, and sometimes music unites people, isn't it? So
Yes, yeah, and it will never; those numbers will never be threatened because nobody buys singles anymore.
No.
it's true.
Historically.
So Jacob Schrader, student from New Plymouth Boys High School, sportsman, foodie, and the graduate of Speechcraft course. Jacob, what do people in Germany, young people in Germany, listen now?
A line of what do young people in Germany listen to? I'd say it's quite a wide variety of different things. Like I, for example, quite enjoy listening to hip hop and rock, but I know lots of different people who enjoy listening to just the newest pop hits or 80s or the blues or rap. Lots of different music tastes.
And how do they listen to music in Germany? I mean, what format?
On their phone.
Spotify.
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
everyone else.
Most people have Spotify on their phone.
YouTube.
Not really that much. Mainly Spotify. Or
You should buy
Amazon Music.
Shears, Warwick. Whatever she is, I think this is.
You might have missed the boat there.
We met at Speechcraft course at that Namoto Beach breakfast club organized for New Plymouth Boys High, and it was an 8-week course where young men from New Plymouth Boys High were able to learn leadership skills, presentation skills, and public speaking. So, Jacob, you were quite a interesting person because your experience is different from the other kids. You live as a boarder in New Zealand and New Plymouth Boys High, and you study at New Plymouth Boys High, and your relatives and mom and dad live still in Germany.
Yeah.
And your grandparents in New Zealand, right?
Yeah, I've got my mum. My mum is originally from New Zealand, and so I've still got a bit of family here. I've got my grandmother and my uncle up in Auckland, and a few family friends. So been on holidays before to visit them, but this is the first time for me actually staying here or living here for a longer period of time.
And you have to tell the listeners why you don't have a German accent, because I had to ask you that the other night.
Yeah, that's, as I said, my mum grew up here in New Zealand, and she always spoke English to me, and which has been really good for me also at school. So I've always spoken English to my mum and German to my dad. He's from Germany, and yeah, that's made sure that I don't really have an accent.
This is a representative of a new generation. Very often parents from two different cultures met somewhere else, move somewhere else, students, children learn another language, and probably so 3 or 4 or 5 languages in the future probably will be a norm. Do you think that learning foreign languages is hard?
It can definitely be quite difficult. To be fair, for me, English, it's always been easy because I grew up with it. But there's also in Germany, we take a lot more foreign languages, especially compared to here.
More emphasis, more value.
Yeah, and like here, most people only speak English. And at school in Germany, everyone has to take like at least 2 foreign languages. So everyone has German, everyone has like at least 10 years of English lessons, and like mandatory another 5 years. I took French lessons. So yeah.
Will you be able to converse in French if you go to France?
Yeah, I've kind of gotten to that level where I can like communicate with people, but especially like the grammar and stuff is a bit hard. But I think I'd be able to get around in France.
I think most New Zealanders, and I'm included in that, would not know more than 5 words of German, and those words would have all been heard on or learned from Faulty Towers. Episode. So can you tell us, please? I know how to say Auf Wiedersehen, which means goodbye.
Yeah.
Perhaps Guten Tag means hello.
Good day.
Good day.
Or hello.
Guten Abend, good evening.
Yeah.
What else? That's 3.
Yeah, you got the 3, or you've just got the
Dankeschön, which means
Dankeschön, thank you.
Entschuldigen Sie bitte means
Entschuldigen.
excuse me, please.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you say good morning?
Guten Morgen.
Oh, that's right.
It's the same as Guten Abend. Guten is good, and then Abend is evening, morning.
And then there's the words that we've anglicised, such as kindergarten and Volkswagen.
Yeah.
Add those to the list. But generally speaking, so I got to 5, and that's pitiful, really. Consider that.
Well, it's more than some people who don't know even one word. So.
Maybe. But when you look at the prominence of Germany in global politics and economics, we should know more.
Yeah.
It's an amazing country that gives the world a lot of musicians, engineers, and so many great philosophers. So it's worth learning.
What do you think of the German stereotypes, like the efficiency and that all Germans are always on time and everything's organised? What do you think of those?
It's in some parts, I think maybe even a bit true, like that in Germany, like you like to be on time or even be like 10 minutes early to something. A few stereotypes, yeah. Or like with the production, there's like quite a lot of car production in Germany, which is true, and yeah.
So here's the thing. I was biking to the gym the other day, and this lady was on the side of Coronation Ave in a Mercedes with a flat tire. So I pulled up and said, "Do you need a hand?" She said, "Yes, I do. I've never done this before." So we got the space saver out and we put that on. That was all fine, but it seemed to be flat. And she said, just drive for 1 meter, and it was definitely flat. So I didn't read the instructions, of course, but turns out there's this little pump that you put onto this tire that comes with the space saver to activate it. That's the word the husband was telling me later. And I said to him, Germans.
Everything was
everything.
already,
It's all there, it's all lined up. Of course, I just ripped shit and busted and didn't bother to look at and find the pump and activate it.
Yeah.
When we started Airbnb, our first guests were from Germany. They're 3 au pair girls, and they love them so much, and they loved us so much. So instead of staying a day with us, they actually prolonged the holiday. They stayed a week with us, and it was really interesting to learn about their culture. And one of the girls' father actually worked at the Mercedes-Benz factory, and at the particular time, I drove Mercedes-Benz. We had lots of conversations about it. So it was cool.
Is that the classic German car brand, do you reckon?
Yeah, Mercedes, maybe BMW,
yeah.
Volkswagen. Yeah, Volkswagen.
They're the big 3.
Yeah.
But they do make a couple of other brands, like Skoda is made by Volkswagen, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
And
that.
maybe other brands.
Yeah.
And BMW making the Mini now.
Yeah.
If you have a choice to drive any kind of world, what will you drive?
Any car in the world. Or what's it called? I quite like electric cars.
Tesla?
Yeah, I think Tesla would be pretty high up there. It's one of the I think
awesome.
one of the best electric cars.
What would you drive?
I love Mercedes. I would drive a Mercedes.
Absolute classic. The design never tires, never ages.
Yeah.
Never dates. The old Mercedes still classic. The new ones are classic. I don't think you'd say the same about BMW. They've gone off and on over time. Still some classic models in there though.
Yeah, but definitely also some different form factors.
Yeah.
So we met at this speechcraft course at New Plymouth Boys High School. Tell us about it. What was it for you?
For me, it was mainly just getting more confident speaking in front of people, and not being that nervous. But I was a bit nervous before speaking to people, and it was just a great opportunity for me to practice my speaking abilities. And then we were here on Thursday. We were here on the show as well. Had a special feature on the long play show, and that was great.
Well done. Yes, thank you, Warwick, and the team for allowing New Plymouth Boys High School and Namoto Breakfast Toastmasters to be on the show. And I think it added a lot for the education of the boys, because it's absolutely valuable. And this is the last big fat point at the end of the studying. And it was amazing to see how many people grew so much. Like every year we do it, and it's at the end of the 8 weeks, they are much more confident, much more better presenters, because there are a lot of tricks that you can learn, and you don't need to go to university to learn this. You just need to think about it and implement.
Definitely.
It's a pleasure to do that show with those boys, because I've taught a lot of year 10s in my time, and I know that they can be, sometimes they can't even follow through. They're just too nervous. But those boys, with all of the preparation that they'd had, were able to front up, and I'm sure they were nervous, but you couldn't tell. Were you nervous? I couldn't.
Yeah, I was a little bit nervous, but it was definitely a lot better than before I did the speechcraft. Yeah, and I think just in general, it's a great skill to have, to be confident with public speaking.
Agreed.
Yeah, and in general, if you become a sportsman or a businessman or I don't know, whoever you become, sooner or later you'll have to speak publicly, and this creates a great value to your resume. So whatever you do, it's a good thing to have in a portfolio. So where exactly from Germany are you?
I'm from a small town close to Frankfurt, which is pretty much in the middle of Germany. And I'm like in a small village with maybe maybe like 2,000 people or something, about 20 minutes out. And I must say, I really like that, because I enjoy living in a small village and having not that many people, but still having good access to the city. Yeah.
So before you were born, but when the country was divided into East and West Germany, Frankfurt was quite far in the east of West Germany. How close to the border, do you know?
I'm not really that sure, but I think we were still a bit away. We weren't like right on the border.
Right.
So we were still pretty much in West Germany.
Talking about cliches, I always thought before I started to work in a German company, I thought that the Germans are very particular, that everything is just according to the rules. But one of the greatest art I've seen was actually German. So you go to the museum, it's just breathtaking. It's amazing and so crazy. People who are very particular would never be able to do something like that. So what do your parents do?
Yeah. All my parents both studied law. That's where they met. Because my mum was from New Zealand and my dad from Germany. They met when they were studying both in the US. And my dad now works in Germany as a lawyer. And my mum is doing a travel agency.
Oh, so cool. So how does it feel to live far away from your parents when you're 17?
No, it was quite a change at the beginning. Definitely had some good and bad things. So it was quite nice to get away and be able to decide what I want to do or be a bit more independent. But then of course I do also miss them.
Was it your decision to go to the boarding school?
Yeah, it was.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Cliche question. All adults ask children.
I've got another cliche question too.
Okay, 2 cliche questions. Mine will be first.
Full of quick cliche questions today.
Who do you want to be when you grow up?
Ooh, when I want to be grown up. Oh, that really is a typical cliche question. I'm not really exactly sure yet, but I'm pretty sure I want to do something with sciences. I think I want to go to university, and not quite sure which science yet, but I'll probably, I'm thinking about taking a gap year after I finish school, so have a bit of time to think about it.
So you would have missed this part, Aluna, but growing up in New Zealand in the 70s and 80s, most of the television was British.
Yeah.
With some American and some Kiwi, but the British always use racial stereotypes in humour, especially then, not so much now perhaps. And so the Germans are always cast, and it's partly to do with the World War II and the fact that Germans always beat the English in football, especially in penalty shootouts. So,
well, we don't want to talk about the last.
True. Sorry, too soon. But, so what do you think? Like the way Germans were cast in the 70s and 80s in British comedies was sort of serious, no sense of humour, dour, a little bit angry. That was the stereotype of the German character. What are your thoughts on that?
It might be true for like a few people, but I think that's not in general true. Like everyone always says German sounds so angry, but the German language, everyone says, "Are you angry with me?" No, I was just telling you about something.
I'm just telling that I love
Yeah,
you.
just telling you about, just talking about the weather or something. And I think it's actually German people can be really nice and inviting. Just maybe if you, I mean, it's a bit hard for me to say because German sounds normal to me.
Yeah. I think I went to Germany in my OE. In fact, I went there with my parents when I was younger, but I was too young to kind of appreciate the cultural aspects at that stage. But on my OE, I realised that Germans like to party. They like to have fun, just like any other person, really. But yeah, what a wonderful country.
Oktoberfest.
Oh yeah, that's a big one, especially in Bavaria.
Yeah. But everywhere in Germany that I've been to, that people love to socialise and appreciate the good things in life.
Yeah.
Every little town has their like a special day or holiday where they kind of dress a national costume and go to the tower with clock or something like that. Well, I don't know about everyone, but I've seen several, and costumes from different areas of Germany are actually quite different as well.
Well, yeah, I think definitely the typical one is it's called the Lederhosen, which are like the leather pants and the straps from Bavaria.
It's only from Bavaria.
Yeah, that's a typical German stereotype that everyone wears the Lederhosen and walks around with a big bottle of beer. Yeah. No, but they only mainly do that for like the Oktoberfest. It's not everyone in Germany walking around in Lederhosen.
So you, as a boarder, live in the hostel. What sort of food do you consume every day in the hostel?
And it's actually, for school food, it's actually not even that bad.
I suppose it's a compliment, not even that
Yeah.
bad.
I mean, for school food, like we had the food in my school back in Germany was absolutely horrible. They got like some pre-cooked food which they just warm up 2 minutes before we get it to eat, and well, it wasn't bad at all. It wasn't. It was horrible.
Good.
Yeah, it wasn't good at all. So we just ended up eating pretty much pizza for lunch about 3 times a week when we had afternoon school. So yeah.
Carrying on with the stereotype theme, I think most people would think of sausages, sauerkraut, bread, beer. What else? What else is in the cuisine? What that Germany is famous for?
Yeah, I'd definitely say a lot of meat, like a lot of hearty and rich stuff. Especially like with pork or stuff with like, sausages a lot, definitely. You have like lots of different types of sausages from different areas as well. And then you have your meats like a schnitzel. Have you heard of that before? It's like
It's very thin.
it's a very thin piece of meat wrapped in breadcrumbs and then fried. And then served with potatoes and the sauce, like gravy. Oh, and that's just amazing.
So you might be interested to know that in the 70s, that was very popular in New Zealand. I don't know why, but when I went to Germany, it tasted so much better. No offense to my mother, but the New Zealand version wasn't great.
What is your favorite German food?
My favorite German food. I'm not even quite sure if that's German. It's called Kaiserschmarrn. Might be from Austria, might be from Germany. I'm not quite sure. And it's like a bit of a fluffy pancake, which is then like cut into small pieces and served with icing sugar and applesauce.
Wow.
And that's delicious.
I think it's a perfect time to listen to our second music piece. And while you're doing this, we're going to eat some German biscuits, which I bought at the bedroom. Especially for you. Retail chocolate was popular. I remember in 90s. Open it.
Oh yeah,
Try
I've
it.
seen that before. Yeah.
Interestingly, there is not a lot of German food available in the market. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just demand goes in
Yeah.
waves. At the moment, it's
Yeah.
Middle Eastern.
But there are also like seen a lot of German chocolate, like or just like Haribo or Milka or something. They're all German.
Isn't it Haribo?
No, this is Leibniz.
Okay.
Not sure. But yeah, I mean like Haribo stuff you can get there anywhere in the world.
Yeah. I would like all our people to try it and just say what they think. Is it different from New Zealand biscuits or what?
What is your village called?
Oberernbach.
And is it which direction is it from Frankfurt?
I think it's north of Frankfurt.
How do you spell it?
Ober.
O-B-E-R.
And then space
E-R.
Erlenbach.
Erlenbach.
Yeah.
Erlenbach.
Yes.
Yeah. How's it?
We're picking.
Oh, it looks like it is quite small.
Uh-huh.
And it's just off the main, what do you call the motorways? Famous name.
Autobahn.
Autobahn, number 5.
I remember when I went with my colleagues to Germany my first time, we missed the tune, the Autobahn. So several hours later, we kind of find our way. Luckily, I was able to ask and kind of understand the question, the answer. So we went back, but it took us several hours to know.
Do you have the motel or hotel Formula 1? Do you know what I mean? Real cheap. With a red logo. I'll show you. I find definitely in France. I'll tell you why I'm telling you this in a second.
So usually I went to Hanover quite often every year because there is a tech exhibition and I was working in the tech industry. So Hanover has the largest, well, used to be, now probably somewhere in Asia, the tech exhibition. Tell us.
Oh, so when we went to Europe, maybe that's a better. No. Before Ollie was born, the year before Ollie was born with his two older siblings. And because we had no money, we used to stay in those because they were really cheap.
I think I might have seen them in France before.
Yeah. So I was just going to your story, and you'd look on the map because it was before Google Maps. So you're like, okay, we've got to go on the autobahn or the whatever they call in France, and then turn right, turn left, and they have signs, but then the signs are just disappearing. The kids are in the back screaming, and oh god, it was stressful.
Were you driving?
I was driving on the wrong side of the road, on the wrong side of the car, you know.
Yeah.
A piece of crap French car that used to fall apart. I wish that the people that we lived with had a German car. They had a Renault, I think it was.
Welcome back to the studio of Taranaki Foodies with Area 41. It is Olina Williams-Warwick, Foy, and Jacob Schrader, student from New Plymouth Boys High, sportsman, foodie, and the graduate of Speechcraft course. So while you were listening to this modern talking song, which is called Brother Louie, which was extremely popular in the 70s, not 80s, and all over the world. It's a German band, but it got popularity in both Americas. Eastern Europe loved it, and I mean, people who just came out from under the Soviet rule just found so fascinating to see those two beautiful, very good-looking men who are a little bit unisex, especially Thomas Andres. He's just with this wave of beautiful dark hair. Just all the girls go, ah! So their music is basically like phenomenon in some way because it's very repetitive. They admit that there is not a lot of variety between the songs. Words are slightly different, but beat is the same. But it is a disco music. And this is one of those bands that were created for a reason. So they created to make money. They survived for years, and then they split. They were really very angry with each other. And then they got together again to collect some more money. But Brother Louie, 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 it's a song about love, which is which doesn't really make sense, maybe, unless you put some sense into it. Do you like disco music work?
No.
I don't like disco music too. This is one of event we don't normally put disco music. I don't know why I do it. So are there things like a discotheque or something, clubs where you're young and go and sing and dance?
Yeah, there are, but you have to be like at least for some places 16, for most places 18. So I haven't really done that much.
Okay.
Have you heard of Modern Talking?
Modern Talking, no.
No, I hadn't.
1 AM? Have
I
you heard
hadn't
of?
heard of them either.
Well,
So
because
that was
you were not in Eastern Europe.
Yeah, that was a bit of a
Discovery.
Yeah.
And you're right, I'm looking at Dieter Bohlen, who was referred to as the pop titan.
Yeah,
German
and you haven't heard of him.
Yeah.
Look
and,
at his photographs when he's young. They have like a gloss on their lips. Their hair amazing, and everyone like Thomas Anders, and famously his wife, because they look like gays or a couple, but they were not. But Thomas Anders' wife didn't allow him to be interviewed by female reporters. How about that?
So one of them's a lot older than the other one.
I don't know.
So
I didn't.
Dieter Bohlen is 67 and Thomas is only 58.
Dieter is the producer, so he was kind of a brains behind, and Thomas is the face.
Face, right.
Yeah. Why are you looking at the old photographs? Look at the young ones. The 80s.
I don't feel the need to look at photos of this guy.
All right. Returning back to Jacob Schrader. So, studying in Germany and in New Zealand, what difference between school?
I'd say school here in New Zealand is more relaxed, or not that much. You just don't really do quite as much. Like, for example, in maths or something, I'm doing calculus here at school, and we're pretty much doing stuff that everyone does in Germany. Like, we did it like 2 years ago. So I was pretty relaxed here then because
I'm not surprised to hear.
Yes.
And that really worries me because my son is at school and I want him to sooner or later be available in an international market of some sort, and this will possibly reduce his opportunities. So what about the whole different organization of the year? Because at the moment there is a long school holidays in Germany, right?
Oh yeah, the year's like half a year offset. So the school year in Germany starts in August.
Okay.
So yeah, it starts in August and then ends like June, July. So it's like half a year. Yeah, different to here.
So it's like 6 weeks of holidays.
Yeah, and then it's like we've got it's coming up. We've got, I think in Germany it's another 2 weeks of school, and so yeah, one week longer than here, and then they've got their big summer break. It's summer in Germany at the moment, and that's 6 weeks.
What's the weather like in the place where you live?
It's really good. I think it's like 30 degrees and sun, so it's amazing.
Will you miss living by the ocean?
Well, I think I definitely will.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm looking forward to going home and seeing everyone again. But I've gotten out, especially since I've been here, I've gotten into surfing a bit, and just really enjoy being by the ocean.
Although it looks like, just looking at the map, because we were talking before about where Frankfurt is, actually is in the middle into north and south, but it's quite much further to the west than I thought it was.
Yeah.
It's actually not that far from Luxembourg.
Yeah, and it's pretty close to France. I think we can drive in the car. We're like 2 hours from France, like Metz or something.
That looks right according to the map. But there's a river near where you live, or lakes, or other types of recreational areas.
I mean, we have the river, which is the Main.
The Main, yeah.
But you don't really want to go swimming in it.
No surfing there.
Even in this day, it's not clean.
I mean, it is pretty clean, but it just runs like straight through Frankfurt, and you can go swimming in it, and it's not that bad, but it's like not made for swimming.
So it's almost like walking on the motorway. You don't want to walk on the and the same with this river. There is lots of boats and
there are actually quite a lot of boats as well.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if you go in Frankfurt, you see lots of boats coming through. Like big barges with coal and stuff.
It looks like though that you've got the big population centres of Dortmund and Dusseldorf and Cologne to the northwest, and then Munich to the south. But to the east of you, it looks like there's quite a lot of mountains and forests around there. There's not a lot of settlements in there.
We've got quite a few different big cities, but to the east, it's not really that much.
Is it nice there to visit?
Yeah, it is pretty nice.
You're thinking of hiking holidays.
Lots of nice forests and mountains.
There's
skiing. I mean, skiing just to the east of there is pretty hard. There aren't really any good skiing mountains.
Not high enough, I'd say.
Yeah, not high enough. But quite good skiing places down in the south of Germany, in Bavaria. Or we've been skiing to Austria before, which is quite a bit further to the east.
Did you leave some friends behind in Germany?
Yeah, definitely.
Tell us about it. Say hello to them.
Hi to Leonard and Sammy back in Germany, and they were. Well, everyone in Germany was quite. They all wanted to come because I left like pretty much in the middle of COVID when it was quite bad, and I'm really lucky to have a New Zealand passport because of my mum. So I went here, and I had lots of friends who also wanted to do years abroad. 2 or 3 friends who also wanted to come to New Zealand.
Did you have to do managed isolation when you arrived?
Yeah, I was when I arrived. My mum came with me, dropped me off. She also wanted to see her mum. We were in managed isolation for 2 weeks.
Which one were you in?
We were in, I think it was Sedima Hotel, which is just next to Auckland Airport.
Was it all right?
No.
Yeah, I mean it's quarantine, so it was pretty bad. But like the food was actually, I must say that I really enjoyed the food there. We got, to be fair, it was nearly a bit too much. We got like 3 cooked meals a day, and it was just like, and you're not really doing that much. You're sitting in your room and
eating.
Just sitting in your room and eating. And well, we were quite lucky because we had they had screened off the car park area, so we could but with like special masks on and keeping like 3 meters distance. We could go outside, although we were never allowed to take the mask off except when we were in our room.
So one of the big criticisms has been that you were on your 12th day walking around down there, and someone who arrived yesterday was walking, close to you. Did that happen, do you think?
Not really. I think what they did is, well, when we arrived, we had a COVID test done straight after we arrived, and we were not allowed to go out until we had our first COVID test done. So everyone who was out there had already done at least one COVID test there in managed isolation and gotten back negative results.
And what if you had walked out of the door? What would have happened?
They had a lot of military there, so don't think we would have gotten very far.
It's just interesting because we have heard about the holds, but overall, they're not prisons, and the people managing them don't have a textbook for this worldwide pandemic.
No, and I must say, everyone there was really nice, and all the personnel there was really nice and took great care of us.
Yeah.
I would like to ask Nathan and Ollie, how did they find this German, what are they called? Biscuits, I suppose?
Crispy cookies.
Crispy cookies? Okay, who wants to be the first one? Nathan Griffith, social media manager and the leader of the food reviews group.
Well, they look a bit like some of the ones we have here in Taranaki or New Zealand. The biscuit itself is relatively tasteless, but and fairly dry. It's sort of a malt sort of wheat flavor, but then it's got that dark chocolate over it with sort of darkish milk chocolate, and it's like.
Is it sweet or savory?
Well, it's the chocolate melts in my mouth and it combines with the dry cookies, and I've got the the wheat flavor and the chocolate, and it all mixed as well. It's really tasty at the end of the day.
Is that something that you used to have when you were little, Jacob?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen those cookies back in Germany, and I've definitely had them before.
Awesome.
And we definitely have that, or also similar cookies back in Germany.
So Ollie Foy, the artist and student from New Plymouth Boys High School.
When I first saw it, I thought it was just some chocolate, because from the top it's just covered in chocolate completely, and then you turn it around and it's just a biscuit hiding in there. So it's quite odd, but it was really nice. The biscuit and the chocolate mixed really well and quite sweet. Yeah.
Thank you, Ollie. What is the brand?
It's Balsen Choco Leibniz. Leibniz, sorry. I'm interested in the design aesthetic of it, because when you go to Europe, go to the supermarkets, you see these kinds of foods. It's a rectangle. It's got little indents around the edge and the brand on it. It's very different.
I think that's quite typical, that you have like full of chocolates that you have like like a name or something on it.
It's definitely different. We don't have something like this.
One of my favorite German food is bread, obviously. And one of the ladies here, her name is Franziska de Honerbein. She's doing her own bread under the brand of Bumblebee Bakery. And her bread is amazing. It is rye and it has lots of seeds in it. But what I've noticed when I went to Germany, that there are many varieties of different breads. Do you tell us about some of the breads that you tried? And
Yeah, we do have a lot of bread back in Germany, and we have like lots of local bakeries everywhere. Like we have, I think, the bakery in my town, and it's quite cool. They're all very old, so they've been going for a long time. Like I think something they have up front is, I don't know, bakeries since like 18 something.
Wow.
They've been going for like 200 years or something, which is quite crazy.
And do they make a limited range, like just their specialty, and that's what everyone has?
Not really. They have quite a broad range. They have my favorite is the bread rolls, which are like small bits of bread. But there are also lots of different ones, like with seeds and nuts on it, and I really enjoy them.
And when I tried the German bread, my idea was like, oh my god, this is so tasty. I can eat it every day because there's so much variety. I can just dip it in the olive oil or sunflower oil, and this is just a meal on its own. So in Russia, we used to eat bread with any meal. So like in New Zealand, bread is like not a condiment; it's a starter. Anyway, in Russia, it's a complement to each dish. You eat soup with the bread, you eat salad with the bread, you eat main with the bread. How is it like in Germany?
Yeah, you don't quite have it with every meal, but you definitely have more bread than here. Yeah, and it's also quite easy to get. You can get it pretty much anywhere, and usually also the supermarkets have like a fresh bakery where they cook their own bread, and yeah.
Come and have a look at this picture, Jacob.
So
years ago,
just describe to our listeners what it is.
There was a feature in the Guardian families around the world, what they eat in a week. So I'll just go off that one and show you a couple of others. So from Bhutan, this family is eating a lot of fresh vegetables there.
Oh yeah.
No meat, perhaps. I can't see any meat. Further down, we have the Patka family from Madhya Pradesh in India. Again, it looks all
not much
veg,
meat.
a little bit of Pepsi,
all
no
made
meat,
from scratch.
all base, ingredients. So going down to Germany, that's interesting. The Natomo family from Mali, who spends 16 pounds a week on food, and that's just grains.
Mainly grain,
Just grains, and some fruit there. Going to Germany, the Mühlander family from, you can say that name.
Back to Heide.
Who spends 320 pounds on groceries, and you can tell us what's in there.
That's
It's also beer.
A lot of beer.
And wine.
And a lot of cheese.
Yeah, that is true. There's a lot of beer, a lot of meat on the list there as well.
And it's cured meat, isn't it?
Yeah,
Mostly.
it's cured meat, and that's definitely, you have a lot more meat, or what you call like Wurst in Germany, which is like thin sliced meat which you put on bread. You have a lot more of that in Germany.
There's all the bread.
Yeah, a lot of bread there as well.
Lots of vegetables as well.
Yeah, we've got veggies over there.
All the juices are in packet. So packeted juices.
Yeah, packeted juices or on the bottom right there, frozen pizzas. That's a classic. And then we always have, we have, I'm pretty sure exactly those pizzas in our freezer at home, and it's just whenever we can't be bothered to cook anything. Yeah, Friday.
Is it realistic, that picture, for the German diet?
Yeah, I mean that's like the typical things you'd eat, with like just a lot of bread, a lot of cheese and sausages. Yeah,
Lots of drinking.
Lots of drink.
I'll put this on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
It's a really cool thing about food.
Yeah,
If people want to
absolutely.
check it out, they can do that.
I think it's the time for the third piece of music, which is Auslander by Rammstein. It talks about foreigners, how foreigners kind of can adapt to the world. But interestingly, the video does not follow the words of it. It's more about colonization. So let's listen to Rammstein. Love Rammstein. Very rocking.
Very distinctive sound.
So you wouldn't believe it, but you've been speaking for 15 minutes. Normally we have guests for 30 minutes. You're an interesting guest.
Yeah. It's been lots of things to talk about.
Yeah, we didn't even touch the sport.
Oh yeah. Well, who do you support?
Football, that's my Eintracht Frankfurt,
Oh yeah.
which is my Frankfurt,
Frankfurt FC.
yes, which is my local team from Frankfurt.
Red and black.
Yeah. Red and black stripes.
Ollie, you like football? Do you know much about German football?
Not really.
No. So do you know New Zealand's most famous football player of all time? It's called Winton Roof, a long time ago. But he played for Bayern Munich. He would be our most successful.
Right, yeah. Yeah, to be fair, I don't really do that much football. I more like I play basketball, so I watch like more NBA or stuff.
Oh, yeah. Basketball popular in Germany though, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's because he's tall. That's
Yeah.
why he's chosen to play basketball. That's the reason. How tall you are?
6'4".
Okay. Still growing, 17.
How are you?
Did you watch this clip? Auslander.
Also, yeah, that's foreign.
Did you watch this clip?
Which clip?
For Rammstein? It's about colonization, how white
no.
people come to some sort of African island or something like that. What they do there, it's actually quite crazy clip. Like all the Rammstein's clips are pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Halloween?
Halloween in
The band. My
no.
brother's favourite band of all time. They're German.
But it's
Like-
like hello and then win. The spelling is different from real Halloween.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's Hell. H-E-L.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hell.
You've heard of them?
Yeah.
Yeah. He loves.
I'm big aficionado of German culture, so for me, I've heard a lot of German music in my life.
Kraftwerk. Have you heard of Kraftwerk?
Kraftwerk.
They are the fathers of electronica.
Yeah, I think I've heard of them before. Don't know that much about them, but I've heard of them.
Their most famous song is Autobahn.
Yeah, I've heard that song before.
Electronic music was quite an interesting phenomenon, but I mean, it's still going on, slightly different. Do we have the show at 5 o'clock?
No, I can't see
No, we
it.
don't. Okay. You have to watch the clip. So when you go home, have a look.
Yeah.
So in France, they just had moving day about 2 days ago.
Moving. What does that
Moving day. It was it came about through a combination of political things and other just it made sense and it's just to do, but it's a day when more people move than any other day.
it's about immigration.
Yeah, one of the biggest things. No, well, actually, no. People just move within.
Play Autobahn.
Oh, right.
We'll come in and
You can keep speaking.
People simply move. A lot of people just move within Montreal
Mm.
instead of moving anywhere else. But
And this is Warwick's choice of song. We're playing. What we're playing? We're playing Kraftwerk.
Autobahn, yeah.
Not a band.
I just want you to see if you recognise you recognise this because it's been ripped off by someone. Oh, Coldplay ripped it off. One of their songs. You ready to talk?
Welcome back to Taranaki Foodies with Area 41. This is us, Olina Williams, Warwick Foy, and Jacob Schrader, student from New Plymouth Boys High School, sportsman, foodie, and a graduate of the Speechcraft course. Thank you very much, Jacob, for coming and sharing your culture with us.
Thank you. It's been great fun.
Instead of having you for 30 minutes, we are almost an hour here. And a few words from our sponsor, Area 41 on Brougham Street. The perfect place to get away for coffee, meals, meetings, and events. Area 41 is an Italian restaurant, cafe and bar with a passion for traditional Italian meals with a twist. They offer a variety of breakfast pizzas. You'll be happy to learn about it, Jacob. Pastas, risottos, Italian mains, and decadent desserts, as well as set menus and platters for any occasion. Open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. All their meals can also be ordered as takeaways. Thank you for listening for Taranaki Foodies with Area 41. Now we are going to take some selfies and post them on Instagram and Facebook. Tune in to 100.4 FM every Saturday at 4 p.m. Remember, there is a live recording of this interview online on Taranaki Foodies with Area 41 group page on Facebook. Meet you next Saturday at 4 p.m. on airwaves. Bye-bye, my Grumenoids. Bye-bye,
Auf
everyone.
Wiedersehen.
Bye. Auf Wiedersehen.
I couldn't believe, but I was able to speak German, but